Hello, everyone. This is the Rise with Rose show. I'm Rose. I'm trying out a different angle with the camera. I'm also going to try looking at the camera and not looking at the computer, but it's hard. It's harder than you would think, but I'm going to do it. We're going to try it out, see what it looks like. And I also know like the sun is going to start rising eventually here. And there'll be more natural light and things coming through, so it won't be so dark. It won't be so dark. Okay. I'm gonna pull some cards. We're gonna see where we're heading and what we're gonna talk about. I was like, oh, maybe today will be the day I do like a half an hour show. So it might be. It might be. I might feel called to be like, you know what? It's all she wrote. But we'll see. Once I get going, I get going. Okay, Six of Pentacles. We're just gonna go with this. Six of Pentacles. What else we got? And this one wants to come out. Five of Wands. Okay, guys, not great, but great also. Tower. Bottom card on the deck, Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, and underneath that's Page of Wands. Couple of pages, guys. Pages are the energy of, it's that starter energy. And I feel this. It's like, okay, I'm getting a vision right now. Everyone right now is getting the ingredients, the things that they require to start their like bonfire, to start their fire that's going to sustain them for a really long time. This fire, when it's burning bright, it's kind of like all of your needs are met. Everything that you desire is there. You have warmth, you have stability, you know where things are coming from. There's this flow, there's this ability to also take your fire and light other people's fire. We're all working towards having a really strong, thriving fire. Okay, I see that. That Page of Pentacles is also, it's that your fire also houses and like germinates ideas. And so it's like the creativity flow. It's that sacral energy. This fire we are like building within us is going to help us really be able to create the life that we deserve and we desire. So we want to build this fire, and the things that we're gathering are things like self-worth, self-confidence, self-knowing, self-security, self-happiness. Everything is self. This fire is about you. What are you building? What does your fire look like? What materials are you lacking right now? We got that Six of Pentacles. So there's this reminder also that, this is your fire. And if you are consistently and constantly starting other people's fires for them, and we're talking about fires being a good thing, not like drama and trauma. But if you're constantly like starting people up, getting them going, sitting there, making the fire, blowing on it because it went out, and checking on it every single like few hours because that's what they need and that's what they require. If you're doing that, for really anyone, whether it be a partner or like even your children, like if you're doing that constantly and consistently, what we're doing is we are teaching them that someone's always going to make their fire, that there's going to be always someone there to gather all the things that they need, put it together while they sit there and watch. We take the ability for that person to gather their own stuff, to tend to their own fire, to pour into themselves. And then what we have is a person that can't gather what they require to have a thriving life. Okay, this fire represents a thriving life. If we take the opportunity from them and do it for them all the time, and it's not to say that like every once in a while you can't bring something to the fire. You can't help them when they are going through a period of like, they don't know how to start their fire in that moment because they've forgotten, or they're full of anxiety, or they're grieving, or whatever that looks like. We are meant to help people start their fires in times of need. But if you're doing it on a consistent basis, being like, oh, I'm the fire starter. I take care of them. I do it. That's my job. If you find that you've been tying your self-worth and your purpose and mission in this life to start everyone's fires and maintain them for them, then this is a calling for you to look at the possibility that that's actually detrimental to them over a long term, like over long term. We want to allow people the opportunity to learn how to gather what they require to create their own sustainability, their own thriving life, their own happiness, their own self-worth. These are things that we have come to learn as humans to gather those experience points. They help us level up. So if someone is always making someone else's fire, then that person that's always just receiving won't have the strength to carry anything else. They haven't built up their muscles, like they haven't carried wood for themselves. So they don't, the moment that they carry wood, they're exhausted. They're like, oh my God, I can't do this, and I don't want to do this. This is really hard. And then we have kind of almost like these tantrum fits or these toddler fits because they haven't grown their muscles. They're not adults yet. They are still learning, still building that strength. We want to give people the opportunity to build their strength. And the same is true for you. You are to build your strength. When we talk about spiritual hygiene or spiritual practices, those build your energetic strengths. They also build your emotional strength, your physical strength. They build a well-rounded person. And we need opportunities to flex those muscles, to use them daily. The more that you use them, the stronger you get, the more that you can handle, the more wood that you can carry, which can be essentially, it's like lessons or tasks from the universe that will generate experience points that you can then cash in to go to higher levels. What a cool analogy, guys. This is really cool. So the more that you show up, tend to your fire, do your stuff, build your strength, carry wood, chop water, you will obtain higher accesses to higher frequencies. You'll obtain accesses to higher frequencies. You'll be able to know thyself deeper. And when we know ourselves more deeply, we get access to things like our clairs, right? Our clairsentience and claircognizance and clairvoyance. And then that allows us to navigate life in a different realm. What I'm seeing is people right now are realizing that they haven't carried their own wood. They haven't chopped it in a very long time, maybe not since they were young, or maybe not at all in this lifetime. Maybe people have always done things for them. And so then now they're like, oh my gosh, like the partner that has carried me for the last 14 years isn't there anymore. Who the hell am I? And why am I so like weak? Why am I like not able to kind of function in the ways that I want to function? And it's just because you haven't built that part of you yet. You haven't built it up yet. So the more that you allow yourself the opportunities to strengthen those muscles within you, there we go, strengthen those muscles within you, the more you become a well-rounded person. And it doesn't make you better, it just means like you're able to be a higher functioning person in this reality. The more that we tend to our fire, gather the ingredients and keep it going and prioritizing it. And that's the other thing too, is the prioritization of this fire. It's really the most important thing in your life. If that fire goes out, the flow stops. Things get hard, things get cold, things get stagnant. And then we have to almost like relearn how to start that fire, especially if we let it go out for a really long time. We want to be so mindful and really look at it as such a sacred practice to tending to us. It is the tending to us that is, it is like the gift of this world, right? To be so present to make sure that you are nurturing and loving yourself from all angles, all capacities, at all times. And guess what? I'm saying like at all times, like that's the goal, right? It's the goal to have a thriving fire in every aspect of your life. But we need to be realistic. If you are just starting out, it's like we're going to have to be a little satisfied with just like a little tiny Bunsen burner going, right? Like we're going to have to be okay with that until we can get up to being able to maintain like that bonfire. And if we got a bonfire going, we don't really have to tend to it as much. We just are just like throw it on. Anyone walking by could throw something on. And we're like, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. And you know, you don't have to and when you got a bonfire going too, you're able to handle like when the universe drops off like a thing of pallets. The universe is like, psh, here's your abundance. Like you don't have to work so hard anymore. Like just fucking chuck a pallet on there and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We got you. And that's the thing, is then the universe just starts like making these consistent deliveries because you are able to maintain your flow so well. You are just then magnetizing and attracting things to you. You no longer have to sit there every day and be like, okay, consciously, I'm going to put this log on the fire. I'm going to go chop the wood. I'm going to go do the things. You have such a good flow going that the universe is just bringing you everything that you require. That's why we want these fires to be really vibrant and really become really magnetizing so that you don't have to work so hard, right? That you are just able to maintain that level of heat and flames and sparks. And when we start to have more of like a bonfire within us, that's when we start also magnetizing our higher purpose, because the higher purpose will essentially be some form of you taking that fire and you like walking with it and sparking others, and not sparking others from a place of like sitting down and like preparing everyone's like fires and getting it all ready. It's more like, I'm walking by. If you need a spark, here you go. I'm walking by. If you need something, just ask. It's what the healers are doing, right? Like, you need a spark, book an appointment. That's essentially what we're doing. We're like, we got a bonfire over here. Let us like just kind of hand you something that you can take. And instead of like trying to figure every single thing out, it's like, take our flame, use it for your fire. I'll teach you how to build that fire and I'll give you the spark. I've often said this is like, I'm your sourdough bread starter. You don't have to start from scratch. It's helpful if you know. So like if I'm not around, you can do those things, but I will give you the starter and I'll also give you the recipe. So when and if that starter doesn't work out, you can build your own starter. So it's a very similar analogy. What healers do is we essentially are giving some of our belief, some of our conviction, some of our knowing, that inner flow. We're kind of like bottling it and we're like, okay, drink this and you're going to start to feel really good. Maintain it, you're going to feel even better. Learn how to create it so it's amplifying and it's super powerful. You'll be able to pass it on to others. And that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to pass this information on to others. This knowing, this knowing of how to get to the flow, into the sweet spot of our existence. It is what will take us to the next level. If everyone is consistently not maintaining their fire. They don't know how to keep it going. They don't even know how to gather the wood. They don't even know the fire exists and that they're meant to build it. Okay, that is where some people are at, right? They've got no concept that there is something that they are meant to be doing in this life. They, instead of, chopping wood and getting everything ready and maintaining that fire, they're watching Netflix and chilling their whole life. One's not better than the other, but one is going to give you a more deeper experience on this planet. And that deeper experience generates the experience points required to get to those next levels. And that is why we are, or have seen, so many people go through such hard times. It's because no one's giving them the knowledge that there is this purpose, and your purpose is to start your fire. The bigger purpose, your mission, comes when you've got a bonfire going. Not until then will you really, really know why you're here. You won't have gathered enough experience points to unlock that level. So what we're going through is the Great Awakening. Everyone has the opportunity to at least have the awareness that there is a fire requirement to get to the next level. Not everyone will accept it, believe it. Some people might try it for a day or two and kind of push it away and be like, not for me, not this lifetime. We're not doing that. I would rather not. I would rather continually do what I've always done, and that is avoid making the fire at all costs. I feel like the world, the energy on this planet is going to inspire and challenge people to be like, it's time to make this fire. Are you going to do it? Are you going to really do it this time? And even more so, it's going to like prepare and like give people the ingredients. It's kind of like, here you go, make your fire, do it. And not only that, it is providing those people with resources such as myself and things like this platform where it's like, you want the shortcut on how to build the fire, how to gather the experience points? Do you want to know how to do it? Well, here you go. Here's the shortcut. And life will never be the same if you do, in a really powerful and positive way. That is where we're going. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And everyone's fires will require different ingredients and different ways to tend it. There's not one way to build a fire. There's so many ways to build a fire, right? You can stack it up really, really quickly, and you can toss a bunch of gasoline on it and it will really go, right? Or you can take your time and it can be slow burning, and you can get those coals really hot and you can have a fire that will just go forever, right? Everyone's going to do it at their own pace, their own way. And that's what is so cool about this planet. It's everyone has a different blueprint, which creates a different experience, which is what we want, right? We want different experiences. We want the uniqueness. We want all of that stuff. Because from the highest expression, the universe wants to have an experience, and it's having its experience through us manifested as these individual fragments of souls. So the more unique that we are, the more that we get to experience ourselves in different ways, which is like, it's kind of like icing on the cake. It's like, yeah, yes, I want to experience what it's like to be a musician. I want to experience what it's like to be a leader. I want to experience what it's like to have a person feel their purpose and drive and motivation. We want to feel us to the highest expressions, and it will look different for each individual. The universe has really, in the last little while, felt what it feels like to be in our lower expressions, to be in the experiences where the awareness isn't there. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to walk around without a purpose? Okay, that's what that feels like. Interesting. Okay, I'm ready for the next experience. And that's what we're doing on a individual level as well. Our souls are learning what feels good and what doesn't feel good, what feels hard, what doesn't feel hard, what feels amazing and what feels euphoric. We want all of these experiences. They teach us things. They help our soul expand and grow. And not just from this side of the veil. We are also taking this information, this data, these experiences, and it helps us grow on the other side. It's kind of like we have two things going on. We are playing this character, but we are also the player back here, navigating this character. So we send this information back to them, and they are able to play the game even better next time, even more aware. Once people understand that the goal is to build your fire always on this planet, that will be the thing that we do first before we start Netflixing and chilling our lives away. We'll be like, no, I got a fire to tend to. I'm going to spend my beginning of my life really cultivating, really building those muscles, chopping that wood, carrying that water. I'm going to do those things. I'm going to keep this fire going. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And when you come in and you have a fire roaring right away, guess what? You don't need to struggle. You don't need to question who you are. You don't need to look for self-worth. All of those things are built in that fire. You don't have to struggle. And that is why we are going through the Great Awakening, is so that when we come back into this game, we come back into this plane, we already know number one thing is get that fire roaring, build it. And I'm building my fire and I am responsible for my fire. It's not your responsibility, right? My stuff is not your stuff. It's my stuff in this realm, right? We have individualism in this realm. So my fire is my fire, but also me tending to my fire, me doing the things I require to be the best version of me also builds the human collective fire. Because we are all one and we're more encompassing than we realize, even on this plane. But we heal and we contribute to the whole through the individual. So as we tend to us and build us up, it lights that collective, that human collective up. And the more of us that do that, the more that human collective magnetizes a powerful, more positive, more balanced timeline and experience on this planet. The individual can heal the world. You can heal your world. You can heal your timeline. You can attract what is the best case scenario to you by tending to you. That is why we, or even me, I teach on why is it important to do your work. For this exact reason, for this whole thing to work in a higher plane of existence, we need to realize you got to build your fire first, and then you have to maintain it, and you want to thrive it. You want to get it so nice and bright that you start helping others who cannot or haven't realized that they also need to do those things. That is all we are doing, which makes life, maybe like if you're looking at it like that, it's like, oh, that's not really exciting. But it is because every one of those interactions looks different, right? Like me helping someone start their fire might be me sitting in a coffee shop, them sitting down, and me being able to unravel some sort of narrative that they've been stuck on their whole entire life. And I'm like, oh, why don't you just shift it? And that's a spark. And that all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I can take this and I can use this and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna start a fire. I'm gonna start a fire. I'm gonna start an awareness and an awakening within me. I can take that now. So it doesn't get boring from here on out where we're like, oh, we're all just burning fires and it's like, all right, fun, fun. I've even had this conversation with people that I know where they're like, I don't really want the utopia. It's going to be boring. If everyone just gets along and it's going to be, nothing but good times rolling, it's going to be boring. And the thing is for the majority, it will be good times rolling. And that will in itself, it will be amazing. It will also probably feel foreign because we are used to having ups and downs and chaos and all of those things. But as we grow and as we tend to our fire, we become calm. We become secure. We become balanced. And those things want to magnetize to those things. So when people say like, no, I'm good with how things are, it's like you're good with how things are because that's the frequency within you. But if you really knew that you could shift things and that you could bring in an inner calm, then you would be magnetized to that experience and you would be satisfied and you would love it. People don't know what they don't know until they know it. And a lot of people are living in a life of fear of what they don't know. And it's that fear that keeps them from even picking up that axe or for even, starting the flint. It's interesting, but it's also a indication of where we're all at. We are all different souls at different levels of our experience. And some souls just aren't ready to start a bonfire. And that's okay. That's okay. It might take them another few more lives before they have enough experience points to even have the desire to want to live in a utopia. That's okay. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. And that's what makes this world really cool. You can come in, you can do your own thing. And when you're ready, the opportunities will be there. Right? And if you are an older soul and you are in this fear, what 2024 is going to bring a lot of synchronicity. It's going to bring a lot of opportunities for you to realize that there's stuff to do, there's work to do, that there's a fire to build. And those synchronicities will look like the universe dropping off a pile of pallets, right? And that's like, all of a sudden you get like this big, let's say you get this like big inheritance and all of a sudden you don't have to work as hard anymore at your job, which you've just been like killing it for the last like 30, 40 years of just working. And the universe drops off this like inheritance and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I think I can retire, or I think I can cut back. I don't think I need to go quite as much anymore. And that all of a sudden gives you space to start questioning, well, okay, if I'm not my job, who am I? I'm going to take some of this money. I'm going to go on a retreat. I don't even really know what a retreat is, but I'm going to go. My friend Sally's going and well, seems like a good idea. You go on this retreat and maybe you do a little bit of a mushroom journey or something. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what is this life? I've only ever known the hamster wheel. And now there's this. Was this always here? Yeah, it always was, but you were too busy trying to gather experience points that just take forever to accumulate. The, American life, like you can gain experience through it, but you don't really accumulate what you would assume you would for like a 90-year period. You are just like bare minimum. You're getting some here and there. You learn how to like maybe become a compassionate person in that life. Maybe you don't. Like it's like over a span of a really long time. So it's just like it takes forever. And then by the time you get enough to be like, okay, I could level up, like your life's done. It's over. That's why when people usually retire, they're like, all right, I'm out. Because they haven't learned how to accumulate or carry wood. So they're like, I got no muscles this lifetime. I gotta go. I gotta go and try again. See if I can get the strength and build it up next time. So what the pandemic did, was it put everyone on pause. Most people put everyone on pause. And that pause gave people space, time to question things. It gave us time to look down rabbit holes we've never even knew existed. To be like, oh, wait, that can't be. Whoa, is that true? Finding more and more evidence and being like, oh, that is true. Okay. Okay, life is different. And if life isn't what it looked like it is, then what is it? And that's when we went into a little bit of self-discovery. A lot of us healers were like, oh, I'm here for a different reason. Feels like I'm here for a different reason. Okay, I'm gonna start learning how to chop wood and carry water. I'm gonna start to learn how to keep my fire going. I'm gonna learn that stuff. And I learned it personally through seeing healers. And I would learn it through, a medium session or a medicine journey, a drumming journey. I would learn those things. And then I applied that to my life. And I applied it to my life consistently over the last few years. And now I really have the ability to not only carry my own wood, but to carry a lot of other people's wood, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stockpile you for a little bit. I'm gonna leave this wood here. And I'm going to also teach you how to find your own wood, how to chop your own wood, so that when I go, you are good. Because I can't be chopping everyone's wood for everyone all the time. And maybe I'm actually now getting to the point where I'm not actually like physically, or not physically, but energetically carrying and dropping off wood. The universe has kind of got me in this truck now, and I'm just like driving around with pallets. And I'm like, okay, there's a pallet for you. Here's a pallet for you. Go, 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 go. That's what this platform is it is my truck with the pallets. I'm dropping them off. And it's not taking from me, right? Like once I get these courses, once I get this stuff built, it's there. I'm just literally like, here's this link. Go to the link, the answer that you require, the wood that you require it's in this link. Go look at this, and then you'll have the information on how to chop your own wood, how to maintain your own fire. And part of what I do too is also like teaching the other healers of like, stop carrying other people's wood for them, teach them how to do it, get in the truck, let's go. That's where I see myself, is like, we can streamline this. We can do what we need to do and not exhaust our resources. I did that for the last couple of years, where I was not only chopping wood and carrying it for my clients, I was doing it for the practitioners. And now there's like a smarter way to do it. It's like, okay, let's just like get the pallets from the universe, and then let's pass that on. Let's pass it on so that everyone can have a roaring fire and also know how to maintain it for themselves. I'm like, man, I know that I'm talking about this a lot, but hopefully this makes sense. And I feel like we need to have analogies like this, because it gives context for people in ways that they can't necessarily understand if I was talking about it in the energetics. I'm pretty good. I probably could come up with an energetic analogy that you'd be like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But this one's a really good one. Apply it to your life. Apply it to your life. Where is your fire going out? Where are you having a hard time maintaining it? Is it in your personal relationships? Is it in your job? Is it in your spiritual hygiene? What is it that you are struggling with? And get better at it. Focus on it. Focus on it. And also, too, if you are, say, in relationships where someone is constantly blowing your fire out, get rid of it. And that might sound a little harsh, being like, but I love this person and I've spent time with this person. This person's blowing your fire out. And if the most important thing is that you have a roaring fire, you came to this earth to have a bonfire. And if you keep attracting people that keep blowing it out, stepping on it, throwing your wood across the room, they are not here for you to build your fire up. They are showing you that they're here for lessons, and you don't require lessons anymore. You already gathered all of that information in your past lives. If we find that we are attracting people that are constantly pulling from us, dragging us down, or we are having to constantly build other people's fires up. So if you're in a relationship where you're constantly trying to like keep that person going and you're stockpiling the wood and you're doing all the things for them, and your fire's over here barely smoldering, then the universe is asking you, or you have the choice, or you need to at least have the awareness first to be like, is that actually what you want to do? And is that actually why you came here? You need to ask yourself that. Maybe you did. Maybe your lesson is like, you want a hard time. You want your fire to barely be going, and you want to learn the lesson of like how to martyr yourself in this lifetime, because that's what that is. And I can say that with confidence because I just did that for the last 2 years, trying to get everyone else's fires going. And mine's like barely smoldering over here, or it's like lit up a bit. It's really lit up in sessions because I really connect and I can get it going when I'm in the flow. But in my own personal life and outside of work, it was just like barely smoldering because I was just pouring into everyone else's stuff. It's detrimental long term to do that. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to get to the next level, then you will be required to let this thing, this person, this experience go. And you let it go with love. And then you tend to your own fire and you get your fire going and you get it burning so freaking hot and so amazing that if it is meant to be, that the person that you're letting go will look to you as an example, and they might say, hey, could I have some of that fire? And you're like, yeah, sure. Here you go. This is how you maintain your fire. Good luck. That is what you do. That is all that you do. You can help, you can give that spark, you can give that like that starter fire, you can give that to them when you are thriving, not until you are thriving. We are not depleting anymore. We're going to learn how to do this in a way that isn't depleting anymore, so that we don't have a bunch of martyrs in this lifetime. This isn't the great martyr awakening. This is the great awakening, and the thriving timeline is what we are trying to pull in. So if we've got a bunch of martyrs, this isn't going to work, because it means that most people aren't doing their work. We need people to do their work. So as much as you're like, but I want to save that soul, not your job. Your job is to save your soul. Your job, and I don't want to say save, but it is your job to get your soul to higher experiences. And it is through you expanding that you'll be able to help more souls. You'll have the knowledge, you'll have the internal resources to spark them, right? Your cup will be so overfull that you will have more to give. If you are trying to maintain everyone's fires and you are just barely making it through this life, or you make it through, you have a moment of like, I'm doing really, really good, but then you go back into these waves of not doing good. And we've got cycles like this. Universe is asking you, how can you maintain up here and not go down here anymore? Look at your life through the lens of energetics. If your life isn't going up like this, or we are going up and down too often, then the universe is requiring us to make shifts, to make changes, because we are meant, if we are choosing so, we are meant to continually go up in experience. The thing about helping other people is that they pull us down, and then they almost like attach little anchors to us. And so even if we get up, we're not even getting up as high as we could possibly be going. We're still like getting the drag. And if you're doing it for multiple people, you're getting multiple drags where you're like, oh my God, it's like walking through quicksand. A lot of 2023 was, it was like realizing, oh my gosh, there's like 10 anchors on me. I've got to do something about this. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like that tough love of like, that's your stuff. That's your stuff. Here you go. Here's your stuff back. It's not my stuff. And all of a sudden you get lighter. But for people that are really attached to helping other people, that have a martyr kind of frequency within them, when we start to unhinge those anchors, we feel, because our self-worth was tied up and our stories and our narratives were tied up in those bindings, we can feel at a loss. We can feel like, who am I? And do I matter anymore? Right? Like all of these people look to me and I was helping, and now I'm not helping anymore. And we can feel like we don't have that purpose, and we kind of can lose ourselves for a little while. All we're doing is we are energetically recalibrating, and we're asking the right questions. Who am I without all this stuff? And the who are you is the multidimensional soul that is here to gather experience points. It is to awaken to higher levels of yourself. And with that comes different experiences. So that is all you need to do, is just learn to tend to your fire and realize that your fire is yours and theirs is theirs. When we realize that, there is a sense of freedom within you, and there is a sense of possibility and potential in that other person to realize those same things. But if we tend to their fire and we do all the things, they will not gain autonomy over, or the sovereignty over, their own energetic being. So it's kind of like stay in your own lane, but we are working and walking beside each other. And yes, when someone trips and falls, we can stop, we can help. But if we're stopping and helping all the time, we're never getting anywhere. We're moving at a snail's pace. It's taking lifetimes to get to the next level. And this isn't the lifetime where it takes lifetimes. This is the lifetime where we get to level up, level up, level up, level up. This is quantum. Like we're going into the quantum realm, people. And we can't do that if we're constantly pausing because we got to maintain everyone else. It's like, no, we go at the pace we're meant to go at. And the people that are going at that pace will be the people beside us. And that's why we will lose some people in this lifetime. It's not that we don't love them. It's that they aren't willing to run beside us. You can't be carrying, dead weight up a mountain. And most of us are climbing mountains in this lifetime. If we want to get to that top, if we want to feel what it feels like, and if we want to prepare ourselves and set ourselves up for success the next time we decide to reincarnate, then we've got work to do, big work to do. So carrying everyone else's stuff it's distracting you from that bigger purpose and that bigger mission of going up the mountain. And I really, really want to, I think I said it enough. It is important. It is important. For me, it's the most important thing is to live life knowing that I have to keep this fire going. And that for me is like, I'm constantly, listening to things, expanding my consciousness, trying to always like refine my routines, or, if they go off the rails, like get them back on the rails, like just constantly checking myself to make sure that I'm, in as much alignment as I possibly can be in that moment. That's the most important thing, because if I'm going to pass my information on, if I'm like chucking pallets to people, I want to make sure it's quality wood. I want to make sure that, you know, it's not wood that's going to smoke you out, or it's going to cause the fire to go out for some reason. It's like, no, I got to make sure it's quality, that what I'm passing on is something that's going to help you thrive and not go the other way, right? So that's why, as a healer, it's really important for us to do the work too. It's also really important for people that are looking for healers. Oh, I'm like moving so much energy. It's really important for when people are looking for healers that you feel into their frequency. Are they of quality? Are they of the example that I wish to be in this world? Ask yourself that. Do I resonate with that person? Or do I resonate even with that frequency, in the sense of like, that's the frequency I want to move towards. That's the frequency I want to unlock within me. And what's really cool is that there really is like no bad healer. There are healers that you will be more attracted to, magnetized to, but every person has a purpose. And every person, if they step into this realm, likely has people that they are meant to help. And they are meant to help people at all different levels. So there can be healers at different levels that will attract people at those levels. I won't necessarily attract someone that is, you know, not willing to like fully let go of their stuff, wants to stay in victim mentality, all that kind of stuff. I have a hard time like really holding space for people that aren't like getting it, where I'm like, let go of that. Most of the people that I see, I'm so lucky. They're like, I'm like, let go of that. They're like, okay, okay, I'll let go of it. And I'll say, you know, try this thing, and they'll go try that thing. And it's like, perfect. You are my kind of people, the ones that really want to do this, and they want to do it quickly, more quickly. And there are some healers that are really, really patient and really like, you know, will circle that drain with someone for quite a while and just be like, okay, until they get it. And then they're like, okay, next step. Whereas I'm like, let's go. I can take your soul from here to here in like 3 months. So we require healers at all different levels. It is up to you to use your discernment to tap into your own, like, does this resonate with me? If things do not resonate with you, don't move towards them. This is part of you learning how to navigate. And also, like, the analogy is like when you move towards someone, you are essentially moving towards like a source or resource for your fire. So do you want what they are saying to you? Do you want that to be something that you bring internally and use as fuel? Ask yourself that. And I feel like, look at that, almost an hour. I feel like we are going to leave that there. You know, I could still talk forever, but let's leave that there. I feel like that's it's something that you guys can brew on. I would love for you guys to like leave some comments, and actually a lot of people personally message me, which is very cool, but I would love for you to even put it in the Aurora community tab, because then people that are coming in can see, and it just helps things. Just, it's like fuel to the fire, right? So I'm going to leave you guys there, and remember that you can only perceive that which you are. So raise your vibes. Have a great day, guys.